Hey there, welcome back to Precision Vehicle Wraps YouTube channel. I'm Trevor and I'm here again with Harmon. He's the owner-operator of Precision Vehicle Wraps in Edmonton, the #1 wrap shop in the entire city. And if you disagree, you can fight me on that. Okay, so today, we were just having a discussion in our meeting just a minute ago about customer perception, marketing, branding, all of those things. And you were telling a story about when you worked at Westin Hotels and how the training there really stuck with you. And maybe just talk a little bit about that and the discussion that we just had a few moments ago about perception being people's reality in relation to commercial vehicle wraps.
Right. Well, it's funny how conversations lead into different ends of conversations, and we were kind of drew me back to way back in the 80s. My goodness, it's a long time ago. I'm dating myself. Yeah, I was with Westin Hotels for a couple of years when I was going to college for business admin, and they just struck me. I had been at a couple of jobs by that time. I was probably mid-20s or somewhere, give or take, and I had worked at a few different places, and then I worked at the Westin. And that from the moment I walked into that place, from the time I had the interview with the human resources specialist to when they actually took me on a tour, because I'd made the final list, I guess, in the first interview, and she took me on a quick tour, and I had I'd never stepped foot in a Westin hotel at that point. I was young man, and it impressed me. And it impressed me so. And once I got the job, I remember my very first day being introduced, and I think I started in banquets way back in the day as a server and bartender. So I had experience in both of those at other places I had been to, and I was just blown away by their training. I shadowed somebody for essentially 4 or 5 days, my first 4 or 5 shifts, and standing at a bar, you wouldn't, so, okay, this is how you set it up. This is how you do this. This is how you meet and greet the customers, and you know how you make your drink. So that's not an issue. We don't need to worry about that. But you keep your bar how you like to keep it. And one of my very first functions was the Calgary Flames banquet, and I'm a big hockey fan, and I was like, oh wow, all these hockey players and their wives coming up, and it just struck me as the perception of the hotel and the quality of service really matched. It was on the same par. There was no gap between what you thought it would be like and what it was like. Mm-hmm. And then they even went further than that. And down the road, when I became a manager, and I was back then in the food and beverage industry, and I became a manager of this one hotel, and food and beverage manager, and I was trying to bring that same kind of process to the customers, because the building was beautiful, the hotel was beautiful, the food we cooked was excellent, the atmosphere was really good, but trying to get all the staff in line, right, and trying to get the management in line, that was there ahead of me, was very difficult. And I think what I took back from that experience is really that the importance in business of getting everything in line. And what I mean by that is, from your building to from your storefront to the sign above your door to your reception area to how you walk through the shop and present it to all our customers, because all our customers who come in to our shop are welcome to a tour of the facility, not just the front end of the house, which is really easy to keep clean, but the back where they're doing all the work, right? And to walk back and experience the staff, experience myself when they come in, the smiles you get, and you're welcoming. It's all about the experience. And that goes for all of what we do there. It isn't just one department of it. It's just not a retail vehicle wrap of a high-end car or high-end truck. And no, it's everything. And it falls down to the commercial side of things: paint protection, ceramic coating, window tinting. Even we did a 95 Skyline the other day. Like, thing was ancient, but it was awesome because it was a Japanese car, right-hand drive, and it's in storage over the winter. So it was really cool. But the customer got to experience what we're trying to portray. And what we're trying to portray is our excellence and our commitment to an excellent job, a fantastic experience with our staff, with myself, and that goes back to the guys doing the work on the job, right? I think in business, now that I've been in business for 30 years and 9 different businesses along the way, I can truly reflect back on where my struggles were early on and trying to, to get everything when you're a really small business is mainly just you.
Yeah.
So
you're
it's
the guy.
Yeah, you're the guy, right? It's easy to portray it, but it's not as easy to fulfill it, and because you're the guy doing the work too. And now when I'm in my seat now, where I'm a little bit more removed from, not saying the day-to-day operations, but a little bit more removed from each individual booking. It's nice to see the feedback in our Google reviews that reflect exactly what our perception of ourselves is, and seeing people indicate that in their Google reviews, that they had great service, they had a great experience, or the job was excellent. It really feels good to, after all these years, to see that in writing, so to speak, and get that validation from the customer.
Yeah, it really does say a lot about the shop itself. It says a lot about the experience that people have had, and like the people that you've got. So when I look at a company, I was reading a book. Actually, everything that we're talking about here reminds me of a book that I read just recently called Creating Magic by Lee Cockrell, and he was in charge of Disney parks for a number of years, and he started off in food service, food and beverage, and the whole book is about creating that experience and creating magic for the customer, and finding ways and being creative with the staff, being creative with the operations, being creative in different ways, so that every part of the park felt like there's something magical going on, that everything had a purpose to it. So there was a purpose for each thing, and the employees were also empowered to go out of their way to make special experiences for customers. I think that one of the stories in the book was a customer from one of the Disney resorts had forgotten his phone charger. It got lost in his luggage or lost on his way, and after hours, outside of park time, the employee actually went to the store, bought one for him, and brought it back so that and left it in his room before he got back to his room, so that when he got there, he would have his phone charger. And that's just one of the examples of what they did to bring that really great experience. So if you're looking for a good book to read about creating magic, that one is awesome by Lee Cockrell. But for me, let's bring it home to people getting the reason why they would bother getting a commercial wrap. Why are you going to get a commercial wrap? Because the perception, like, number one, you want to elevate the customer's perception of what your company actually is in the marketplace. Now, you've probably gone through this hundreds of times with different customers. Tell me some experiences of what you've actually seen with people's brands just taking off. Well, I guess you have both sides, one who just go half-assed and some who go whole-ass and get a full wrap.
The big difference of dealing with companies that have been around a while, I think the last video I mentioned a company, Always Plumbing, and we do their wraps for them, and they've been around for a long time. And there's a company that matches, again, the perception, the expectations, it's matched, and it's really well done, very well done wrap. The design is excellent, very eye-catching, brilliant yellows and blues, and it's not missing anything. It's got the quick QR code that people can take a picture of, and the phone number on it too, but the QR code is the main one. And it's just a small little thing that a small little detail of the wrap, but makes such a big impact to somebody new. And we always run into the conflicts, quite frankly, with people new in business, and you know, they may not have the budget to do something really elaborate, but they start off with an older vehicle and trying to dress it up and
Sure.
you know, I like to tell people, you know, you're being judged the moment you get in that vehicle and drive it towards to your customer to do the work. You're being judged along the way. People see your van or your truck and it's covered in rust and dents, and the old artwork is on there, and it, you know, it really doesn't do much for anything. And then I think it really detracts from the business.
Yeah.
And from the professionalism of that business. And if you're trying to say that I'm a home repair expert, well, you kind of got to meet the part, right? Yeah. You kind of got to look the part. Right. And
I would agree. And the other thing is you cannot go and demand, you know, the high quality prices if you don't look the part. There's going to be some kind of cognitive dissonance with that customer. Certainly. When you give them a bill that is, you know, say 10-15% more than the last guy who was here, who had a decked out beautiful truck, right? Even if your craftsmanship is amazing and it's like the best, and you know it's the best, you got a lot of people telling you it's the best, until you have that perception, until that perception meets the reality, it's just not, you're not going to be able to command that same price. So, you know, that's where you come in helping companies have their brand value match their look.
Yeah, we've dealt with all sorts of companies, big and small, and medium size, new and old, and the message is the same. You want to send out a quality job on our end. We of course want to make the experience and as painless as can be for commercial wrap. A lot of times people have no idea what they're going to do, and they come to our designer, and our designer's okay, so now I got to take this and this and try to figure out what they want. But it's actually a little bit easier for him than it is for me, because he does it all the time. But the reality is he knows how to lay that out properly to get the maximum effect. And for the customer, when they're, you know, let's say a little less experienced and they come in and they're not really sure, and you try to give them some advice and say, well, you know, if you're competing with the big boys, you want to have it decked out. Okay, you may not have a 2025 3500 truck and full paint protection and the decal package over top and look just to the nines, no doubt. Okay, so maybe you have a 2015, you know, Chevy Fit 1500 and you're trying to get the same appeal. Well, you can. You just have to put the money in the right spot, right, and align that with what you're doing. I like I said, it's like going to a fancy restaurant and having an expectation of what it's going to be like, and going there and being let down. Yeah. And you know, how many times does that happen? And not even a fancy restaurant anymore. I mean, so few of them out there that exist, and you go to, you know, a mainstream restaurant, and you sit down and it looks nice and feels good. You get the menu, it looks good, and then the service comes, well, it's a little rushed, but you know, it's all good, and then you get your food and it's
subpar.
Yeah, it's kind of you know, no big deal, right? Yeah. So we want to align ourselves with an expectation and to the customer's reality. We want that to meet and exceed their wants. We want to blow them away, you know, so that they get that sense that, oh wow, this is amazing. This looks great. Well, you know what? I really should go out and spend another couple $100 and get some T-shirts that are, you know, polo shirts that are really going to, you know, align with my company. Maybe a nice jacket, you know, that's going to have my company name on there. You know, maybe we should impose maybe a dress code on a couple of staff that we have here, so that, you know, we get that little bit better image. Yeah. You know, and then when you pull up to your customer's door and your serviceman walks up to and rings the doorbell, they have somebody who's the first appearance again is matches what the truck does, matches the uniform, and then hopefully matches the work that you do. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with the whole sentiment of it. It makes a big difference. And if you're trying to sell to you know, people with means, people have money, it matters. The perception of your company, perception of your brand, it matters so much. And I wish more people would realize and understand that. And the other side of it is,
it's a reflection of who the owner is, right? The owner or the top level management really is where that company culture comes from.
I think so.
So it, rather than, like not do as I say, not as I do, but actually embodying your values, embodying your mission, embodying, customer service. And that breathes through in your attitudes, your actions, how you speak with your customers, your website, your vehicle, your uniforms. Are you clean? Is your vehicle like kept up? Like all these things. It builds either a bridge in the mind of your customer towards the final sale and being happy and getting a awesome review from them, or a disappointment, right? Because trust is very tough to earn, but it's easy to lose. And once it's lost, then it's extremely difficult to come back. Yeah.
It's not coming back. Yeah.
So no, this is great. Anything else that you wanted to share about Precision Vehicle Wraps and the experience that people can expect from you? Like, what is your expectation?
Well, I go into work every day with the same mindset. I start my days at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get to work around 7, and it's always the same routine. And the minute the door open, it's showtime. Your floors are clean, your bathroom's clean, your counter area is not cluttered, your shop is clean. We preach to our guys in the back and girls. Sorry, we do have a couple girls working for us now. And we preach to them. You want to start the day fresh. So whatever happened that went great today or didn't go so great today, no big deal. Starts fresh tomorrow, so the workplace is nice and clean. And you never know, that customer who has a 500 fleet of trucks may walk in at 8:01 in the morning the next day, and all of a sudden he's taken with that expectation that wow, that is how I perceive the company to be. Look at that, it meets my expectations. Wow, I bet you the work's going to be really, really good too. And that's how I look at it every day. And we have our meeting in the morning with our staff, and we go over the projects from yesterday. We go over the projects for the upcoming day, and most of the time there's carryover, as there always is, because most jobs are well over 2, 3, but 4 days, say. And they come in and they're fresh looking. They're wearing uniforms, and it's about nailing home that image. Hey, you're getting a little scruffy looking. Let's clean that up a little bit. Let's look the part, right? Let's make sure you're wearing a clean uniform shirt. I know you're going to be on your back all day underneath that vehicle tearing it apart, but I still got to show up nice and clean the next day, right? So
that's right. Yeah.
I think when we were talking upstairs and having our meeting, and that reminder of the last 30 years of my professional life, and wanting to be the man that walks the walk, that talks the talk, and in business and in personal life. I mean, that's huge, right? And it's nice to see that we align.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Well, guys, you've heard it here from Harmon. They really care about putting the work in and the effort into every vehicle that comes into their shop, even if it's for window tint. They do tint jobs. They do paint protection film, full wraps, commercial vehicle wraps. They really care about not just the quality of the work. They care about the customers that come through the door, and because it is a pure reflection on their company. If you are looking for the best wrap in Edmonton, if you're looking for the best paint protection film from the best company, go to Precision Vehicle Wraps, and you'll meet with Harmon and his team, and they'll be happy to take care of you.
100%.
So we'll see you guys on the next video.